back and welcomed by Beautiful Crow. It is a new face on the desk. We might be getting another one in a short time, but Muscle is here to keep us covered, keep us company, and we have a great game under the way. AXZ versus the Hawks. A game that previously I would have memed about a lot. I would have said about Hawks fighting Wales. That would have been the tagline. But that's because last season it felt like these two teams were kind of battling for that 7th, 6th spot, you know. This season, though, both teams deciding, you know what? It's our time to shine. They've seen Russell Jesters clowning around a bit, and they said, you know what? 3rd spot, that could be ours. AXZ obviously putting up big performances this split, picking up games against V3, which admittedly was a little bit expected, but Russell Jesters was their big takedown that everyone is talking about. And then on the flip side, the Hawks also picking up a lot more momentum this season, and they are both doing pretty good at the moment, both 2-2, but we'll see who is going to go 3-2 today. This match is going to be setting up pretty nicely. And Beautiful Crow, how are you doing, buddy? How are you doing? How are you feeling coming into this game?
Look. I'm going to be honest. I've been awake for 26 hours straight in massive anticipation for these games today because the hysteria is going to set in. That's going to lend greatly to the hysteria that is about to be this next game because literal middle of the pack games early on and the splits are always my favorite because everybody's going to be trying to muscle their way out and, you know, establish their place higher on the ladder, and they do not want to lose. You know, every single loss matters significantly, and like when you have a 4-way tie, that makes things a little difficult.
No, it 100% does. And I will say, I would give the edge over to the Hawks right now. I think their strength of schedule has played into a bit of a rough situation for them. Obviously, they had to take on some pretty big names early on, and they also faced what I would say is the toughest Russell Jesters that we've seen all of the days combined. So I do think they've had a little bit of a rough one, but they've managed to stay out on top. They beat both CGA and Burning Core. Can they beat AXZ Master Swan? Who would you give the edge to before we even get into draft?
I mean, both these teams... one of these teams beat Rascal Jesters, one of these teams lost to Rascal Jesters. So I actually counter your point, and I actually think AXZ are going to take this one. I disagree with you, J-Real. I believe in the Sangchu supremacy angle, because I'm still waiting to see that marble that I saw in Academy. He's still not shown up, and I would argue, I think the lane of AXZ is more exciting than the bot lane of the Hawks at the moment, J-Real. I counter your point, sir.
Okay. Well, it's fair play. I will say, Sangchu has always been a little bit of a dark horse when it comes to the bot lane. I do think the Zero performances were always very, very huge montage plays. You know, that was kind of the situation there. But can it be consistent? That is the question for AXZ. Can they be consistent? Yes, they beat the Russell Jesters, but the Russell Jesters, well, looking a little bit shaky and haven't really found their feet throughout the rest of this split. Beautiful Crow, are you also siding with Master One? Do you feel like AXZ are actually potentially the favourites in this matchup?
Look, in this battle of swans and crows, I have to side with the Hawks on this one because this is not the Hawks of spring, my guy. This is not the same team that went 0-9 in the first half of spring. They're already off to a better start than they were in spring, and it's really looking dope to see Blank and Dasher actually, you know, work as a good duo unit. It's really nice to see Kinatu actually be present in these fights, even though they have been very scrappy, they have been very bloody, but it's come out for them more often than it has actually failed for them. So I'm excited to see if they can keep this momentum going, and it is a really great opponent in AXZ to be matched up against to see if they can get the neck up on the competition.
Yeah, and I think the Yellow Yoshi as well has also been having a much more consistent split. I will say that as well. I think that they've been playing a lot better in the whole split. You know, the Poppy we got to see one time, I think one time only, but they've also just been...
it's been banned infinitely.
Yeah, it's been banned a lot, but it's been consistent. They've been very consistent in this split, and I'm liking it. And also, the big one for me from AXZ, the one that I really, really am impressed by, is Megamin. I feel like he's played much, much better this season. I think put him on a carry, stop putting him on Lissandra, please, AXZ. Do not put him on Lissandra this game. Master One, do you feel similar?
Oh, my rookie boy from Scouting Grounds came through with Kinatsu, and unlike Kinatsu, didn't have the greatest performance. Even when AXZ started looking good, it wasn't really because of Megumin, it was because of Honey. This split so far, these first 4 days, has been a huge glow up for Megamin, just in general across the board. I want to see an Azir. I really like the Azir coming out. Obviously, though, he is an assassin melee AD mid laner. So there's a lot of utility from Megamin, and that's something I think could definitely be an exciting thing to see. I'm just happy to see it. This is going to be a tough matchup, though, versus Dasher. I'm not going to pretend it's not.
Yeah, yeah, I was going to say, on the flip side of that, Dasher is pretty strong, but we are going to be going into pick and ban. We will see how they do decide to draft, and we're going to have Beautiful Crow joined by Temporal, I believe, as we jump into this game. Boys, take us away.
All right, I'm going to pilot us on here, but I'm also going to welcome Temporal to the desk with me as we are getting this pick and ban underway between the Hawks versus AXZ. Off the bat, going to target some AD carry bans, get rid of that Ezreal, get rid of that Lucian. I mean, yeah, that's valid. Ezreal been doing a lot of work, and we don't want to see any Nami Lucians at all.
Please no more. That would not be great. Hello, Crow. How are you doing?
Man,
and
great.
for two teams that, have different ways of using their bottom lane, you've got Sangchu, who's like the heavy hyper carry. You've got Reiner, who defines their team's engages. I'm not surprised to see opening bans towards both bot lanes.
Yeah, and they're going to keep it going. Taking out the Zeri, has been popping up just as such a strong pick in the right hands. And, I mean, I could argue that Sangju could be, the right hands for that. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that off the table as we are moving into this. I mean, you got to go down the list from here, It's the typical scaling, like, get the Kaisa, get the Jinx, get the Aphelios at this point in the game. Maybe something else spicy if they feel like getting on a niche pick. But also going to take... Okay, so this is interesting.
Yeah, the Hawks have clearly got something in mind that isn't Wukong on Blue 1. They're banning it away themselves. This may hint towards an early Ahri for Dasher. Wouldn't be a huge surprise. It's very contested between the two mids here.
Yeah, I'm just interesting to pick out. Okay, they're going heavy on the marksman bans, taking out the Senna, so no Senna TK madness happening either. But I'm just really interested that Hawks did take off the Wukong here, as Blank has been showing up really well on both the Viego and the Wukong. So gonna see him dip into his bag a little bit more here as we're getting to this first pick.
Maybe something new. Current Blue ones can be sort of anything. You've even seen a Lissandra Blue one somewhere. I'm not sure that should be repeated, but get it through here, and it will
okay.
Yorick.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Stronger on the durability patch. I want some sort of confirmation from the ether that wasn't a mistake, just in case.
I need to know.
Yeah, he has been great in the top lane. Too much healing, and too much scaling with those resistances really makes him difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I normally I've seen him as that niche counter pick to Jace that a lot of people don't abuse enough because of how great that matchup is. But blinding Yorick, I mean, I feel like that can be a lot broken up. Okay. All right. That was all right. So you were right, reading the air correctly. That was a little bit of a mistake. An oopsie daisy, if you will. Because I was just like, wait a minute. Oh, there he is. There's the man himself.
I blame horses. Do you know why I blame horses, Crow? Because I was stuck behind one on a major road in the UK for maybe 20 minutes. So that's just not the speed I needed to go at this morning after the roadworks. But we're here, and now we're on the LJL.
It's a Temporal!
Whoa, let's go!
Oh!
Oh, man.
That's all we've got for you till the Hawks sort out their draft mishaps and over on the LJL official side and from the tournament side. They're just going to sort out what they need to sort out.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I would have loved to see Yorick Mori, the boy, just come out and play.
It's not that odd to early pick Yorick either, but maybe not on one.
Yeah, I mean, the man can do some work. Like, I'm a big fan of how he digs holes for many souls. But yeah, I mean, looking at the game plan here, we saw the bans, all of those marksman bans. Really interesting to open up what they're gonna. Are we gonna default to Jinx Aphelios?
It was slightly bot lane heavy, but I wouldn't go too far down. It wasn't super special, but definitely not surprised to see sort of Zeri taking away the center and some of the major picks. So nothing too exciting there. Crow, have you ever seen the film Holes? You're talking about how you love digging holes.
Absolutely. Oh my god, the classic.
I love Shia LaBeouf so much.
Yes, back in his young curly days. Then he hit puberty, and Michael Bay snatched him up, and it was all over from there.
that was it. That was the beginning of the end. If you haven't seen that film, it's a high recommend. I'm sure it's not very expensive.
Honestly, yeah. Like you could just get it anywhere. It's just it's like one of those few book adaptation movies that like I actually like the movie more than the book. It's just like, man,
it was shown to English school children back when that was me. So I presume they're still doing that out there.
You know, just one of those timeless classics of the generation.
It kind of was. It was like, hey, you know, there's more to life than shoes, and there's definitely more than making children do slave labor out in the middle of the desert.
Exactly. Hunting for buried treasure and stuff. It's so quotable too. Like the amount of times during the day, me and my friends would be like, "I'm tired, Grandpa," and I'd be like, "That's too damn bad." Just unprovoked. Like even if it's just the most simple situation, just whip it out. And just, oh my god, just my favorite. Just I can fix that, man. That has gotten me into some interesting situations that are probably not appropriate for the podcast. But
could it be appropriate for fixing this draft phase?
It might be. It might be. I have to contact my good friend Dule Hill, award-winning actor Dule Hill. To see if I can get that going.
Please bear with us. We are just dealing with a slight mishap. Revel and Eyes are doing their best on the official broadcast. We did have the first round of bans from both AXIZ and the Hawks. However, a little bit of a delay on Blue One. So league officials are just figuring out the next steps. And once they happen, they'll be up on this screen.
Yeah, man, you know, this would go a lot faster if the teams were in the studio.
Ooh. Technically not wrong.
Just makes things go a lot smoother, you know, when people are within walking distance of each other. All right. As we are hoping to get that back and up and running.
I think we're going to kick it to a quick break, ideally.
Yeah.
Just wait for our production overlords, the Masked Swan, off in the sky. And then we'll be back really soon with more LJL. 2, 1.
All right, we're back. Sorry for that extended break. I flamed Kanatu a little bit too much on the Yorick pick, so he decided to tell his team to, you know, let's run this back to appease the god that is Crow. But we're getting right into it, and off the bat, switching to a Corki.
Much more like it on Blue One. That's something we should expect. So maybe technical issues over. No more Yorick. No more craziness.
I mean, hey, there's still a chance they can just pick it later on in draft.
Well, I've lost my view, so I can't see anything right now. But at least the teams are out there. The Yone answer in it to the Corki, something we've seen throughout the LJL. It's just a direct counter into what is meant to be a nice safe mid. So, nice and easy there. And paired with a magic damage jungler, it's primarily physical damage from the Yone. The Lilia does allow that sort of team fight domination. Pairs up quite nicely with the Yone for a central unit.
Yeah, and then, just the roaming power of Lilia Yone once they get out of the lane is stupid good, I would say. So, definitely am liking what AXZ is pulling out right now. And let's see what the Hawks respond with. Okay, they are going to get the TK, so I'm assuming TK Aphelios in this case. Sin is off the table.
Got to be some sort of hyper carry behind the Tom Kench. There it is. That's Harvard. Will it go in? I'm expecting a top laner out of AXZ here on R3. It is the easiest way to sort of cleave out this draft. Okay,
no.
That's top laner.
All right. I mean, hey. Yumi has been picked pretty much everywhere.
She just
very viable.
Shoot the Lilia, like coming in any jungler that can move fast. Just a great platform for Lilia. And when you've got alternatives, it's not your AD carry, hyper carry. That is an option. I kind of understand picking this here. R3 is just a bit better defended. Normally, it would go to your top laner here. However, AXZ feel that another 2 AD carries pinches the pool too deeply and they can't answer the Aphelios, just flexing that one here is fine.
Yeah, I did like that. To go ahead and pick out the 80 carry just because, like you said, can't really pinch it too much more here, and you just allow for more counter afterwards. So they're just go ahead and get the other answer to the Aphelios matchup. Aphelios Jinx, still going strong, 2022. And then the Lee ban coming out. Okay, so no blank Lee, unfortunately.
No Blanco Kanatsu Lee Sin. I'm not sure if Kanatsu plays it, but I think most top laners right now on 12-12. So again,
True,
we're on
true.
12-11, but into the future, in their current practice, should probably be playing Lee Sin. Just turns out that early top lane presence, scaling up through the game, works really, really well in the current durability era.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lee will go where he pleases and just do what he wants, so might as well get him off the table. As we are approaching the end of this ban phase 2.
All right, Rakan taken away against Tomkinch. No surprises.
no
No
surprises.
surprises at all. Rakan loves to run ribbons around Catfish. Another jungler away, so AXIZ trying to deny target access here. They don't want Lee Sin or Hecarim diving deep and diving through Lilia onto the Jinx.
Yeah, they're really trying to make Blank work for those backline dives that he loves to do. I mean, interesting enough to say, you know, since Hawks banned the Wukong and the Viego themselves, so like you got to go deep into that champion pool for the jungle pool right now. As we'd have the Nautilus, the final ban from the Hawks. I mean, yeah, that works.
I like the Tomkinch into the Nautilus, but there is always that out. There is always depth charge, and there is always Lady on the Horse to just absolutely ruin Tom Kench's day. I love the rel here.
Okay.
On the dive.
Great answer.
So much creativity in 5 seconds.
Wow.
The Poppy, the Gnar. So great controlling team fight, pushing your enemies away, bringing them towards you. Plenty of options to let Dasher and Marble on their 2 AD carry style picks to play
for sure.
Fight.
I mean, I am liking the Hawks lineup right now, and okay, so I was about to ask, like, for AXZ, like, I feel like this Sejuani might have been an angle. They're gonna go and pick it. She's been popping up a lot as of late.
Should be a winning matchup for the Sejuani. However, we saw Yellow Yoshi just flip that one on its head, and that's sort of maybe the way the LJL is going to have to treat the Poppy lane. And never mind, it's the Gnar. I know what I'm talking about. That's heavy winning.
Yeah, Yord will say, "Oh, look, they're all short in front of me." So that's generally how it goes.
All right,
but yeah, I like the draft. I love the amount of area control that the Hawks have, I would say, but like the dive potential from AXZ is pretty scary. I would have to say it's just looking like if they don't have the right positioning, it's going to be an absolute.
It's been the common way we've seen teams attack the Corki, attack the safe, stable, sort of evergreen mid laner who can dish out loads of damage later on. Takes a little while to get there, but is pretty good in lane as well. No real power trough for Corki. Unless you're diving on, unless you're trying to, before 2 items, really put him in a hole.
For sure, and I am very much liking how that's gonna go. I mean, it's gonna be, you know, the scale game. Not too much happening early. You would have to think with these champions that are picked, but like once we hit that, you know, 15-minute mark, it's just expect the kills to start raining in because of
one way or another.
Someone's gonna start hitting somebody. They're gonna say who's gonna. It's like those like bar standoffs in like movies, whatever. Everybody's just like one pin drops and then everybody starts fighting. I'm excited to see.
I expect that pin to be 2 items on you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Once he hits this like 0-6 power spike, then just absolutely going crazy. But yeah, the objective fights. I'm gonna look out to see how they play around the early dragons, if they're just who's gonna give what up. Both of these teams not the best at their objective control, unfortunately. So it's we might have a 10-minute first dragon here, Temporal.
Maybe. I'm not too sure because the way the rel lane works out can sort of change a lot. So I'm not too fixated on seeing like, hey, rel's gonna move here at this time. You can just get out of the lane, that's completely fine. But making that work around the dragon and making sure like Corki can't get in there with the package right on time and like control that, it's maybe not that sort of level of difference. So I'm interested to see which way the teams go. I think First Herald should have huge priority on it, especially in the Yone lane, because you want to break Corki nice and early, or you want to get something into the side so Lilia just has even more jungle to farm.
For sure. I'm just going to be watching how Swamp decides to run around in those early levels on the Lilia. It's the answer to the Poppy is just like, I feel like that is the LJL special at this point. Don't really see a lot of other regions willing to dish it out and use it whenever they can or when they need to dig deep into the pockets, but it just does provide such utility. It's kind of like we have seen Blake on it before, but it's kind of different to his normal play style, you'd have to say. With
Just
how
being able to
aggressive.
say no is
Yeah,
just great. Like Steel and Yellow Yoshi, definitely the two I would expect to see more games from on this pick this season. And excited to see if the Hawks make it work for them in this game. We are just waiting to get into game. Will be just a second.
there's just so many variable combinations and denials that could happen easily in these team fights. Like one perfect steadfast presence from Blank denying the entrance from multiple members of Axis. No Rel engage, no Yone engage, no Sejuani hit. There's just you'd have to hope that he will be able to time those correctly for the bigger fights or even the smaller skirmishes. So just a lot in his baskets.
Yeah, really impactful. Quite a lot of pressure to keep on yourself in a competitive game of League of Legends. And talking of competitive, the standings for Axis and Hawks matter quite a lot. Hawks set at 2-2, sort of low end tiebreakers, and Axis top of the 2-2 bracket. We sort of had the breakaway from Sengoku from DFM, and then all the way down to 6th place is all tied for 3rd. So this weekend, Crest, Axis, Hawks, and the Jesters do have to resolve themselves and do have to start to progress towards the top and the bottom of the table. If Axis want to keep going here, a win over their direct rivals in the Hawks matters so much, adding to that pressure we had already mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that, like we were talking about, the top of the day, this big old tiebreaker pile in the middle, and then there's just V3 at the bottom. You just kind of break away from that. It's really good. Like, this is a very contested matchup. Like we said, very even on paper. Depends on which Hawks show up or which Axis shows up on the day. Can spell a whole lot of difference between the two on how each would play. And then also in, the next game we do have with Crest and DFM. I mean, it's very DFM favored, but
yeah, but that coin can land where it may, and we've seen the CGA coin land a few very weird faces.
that we have indeed.
All right. I believe just a few more technical difficulties will be in really soon into this game for Hawks versus Axis. Crow, if you had to play one of these drafts, if you had to insert yourself into this game, where would you want to go?
Well, honestly, Rel is my daughter, but like Tom Kitchen's my spirit animal. So like it's a really big tug of war going on right now. But I would have more faith in the Hawks lineup because that double marksman scaling is just so nasty if it allows to get going. Like the Corki damage is phenomenal, and then Aphelios can just do Aphelios things still. So I would feel a bit more comfortable on that side, I would say. Megumin though, Megumin and Sanchu have been playing really well. So like I can't even take anything away from that mid 80 duo of how well they've been playing and being able to carry things. But I'm leaning just a bit more towards Hawks.
Likewise, I'm leaning slightly more towards Axis. I just think the Sejuani offers so much, and then Sangchu on a hyper carry just always looks really nice. Been playing a bit of Rel recently. It's been sort of fable of top lane Rel up against multiple things. Of course, this isn't top lane Rel, but I just love the champion anyway. That's such a great time into Tom Kench in the deep trades where you can just turn off the second health bar.
Right, immediately. Like honestly, she does feel like a really good answer to the Enchanter meta. I really hope more teams pick her up and are getting more proficient with her because her abilities are just so useful into those Enchanter types. And just all inning with her just feels really good right now. And like you said, really good answer into the Tom Kidge can negate that gray health pretty like instantly. So I mean the 2v2 is gonna be interesting to scout. And Sangshu on this Jinx might be a problem if it gets popping off early.
Yeah, we are still just holding on, just to get into game. Just a few more little Teemos in the system to be found and booted out before they have Summoners at Rift all to themselves. Crow, you've been up to anything
Yes.
fun this weekend?
Oh God, boy, haven't I? If anything, I need to stop having fun for just a minute. But the fun can't stop as long as there's League of Legends to be casted.
It's
So
true. It's true. Like
yeah,
it's really winding me up waiting here because we've got such a good and exciting
I
game
love this
ready to
draft.
go.
Honestly,
Like
I
I'm
love
gonna
going through this
sit here
draft.
and wait. I don't want to
Yeah,
wait anymore. I want to go, but that's just the way it is, and we'll just have to keep our expectations on ice in the glacial prison just for a moment longer.
yeah, just for a moment longer, and I do believe the teams are loaded. There's the logos going. There's the graphics. It's Hawks. It's Axis. We're getting into it. Game number 3 of day 5 of LGL Summer 22. I'm Beautiful Crow. This is Temporal, and we are finally getting into this game.
Oh, I'm so excited, Crow. Right. We have got 2 middle of the pack teams, loads to prove, loads to look at, playing their style of game. We've got Dasher on something non-committal. We've got Marble on the Aphelios. We've got Sangchu on the hyper carry. Just feels so thematic. Both teams just going with an open line to start the game off. No risks here. We might see a little bit of cheese from Azuka if he has chosen the W off the bat, so can get out of this bush, can flip back at level 1. It's to come in a few minutes, or maybe a minute's time. Till then, junglers on opposite sides of the map, so not likely to interact early on. There is the option for Swampy to invade after his chickens. I'll have to see whether he goes for it. Poppy not the fastest jungler.
Yeah, not the fastest. I mean, clear speed definitely on the lower end. And like you see the missing pings already coming out. Didn't really get any deep vision. I do like the river wards from the Hawks, of course. To look for that pathing as Lilia can literally just go wherever she pleases. Swamp has been doing a pretty decent job with the jungle pathings in the past few games. Hoping to see him keep that up and bring them to victory. But off the bat, a level 1, just a little saying hello, just getting acquainted with each other, you know.
Just to check, Azuka just managing to get Reina stuck in just a little bit more than he would maybe expect, but nothing too exciting at this stage.
Yeah, and like we said, we gotta strap ourselves in and suit up for a long one because this is one of those games I feel like it's going to go at least a 30-minute minimum, just with how these teams play and how these comps are going to play.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to rush out of this. We did see the ward coming down from Megamin, the 230, so he spots out Blank on the camp, knows he's going for the full clear. That's just going to confirm Swamp's pathing for the next minute. He doesn't need to get out of his own jungle and into Blanks. Instead, he's just going to full clear for himself, get on the crab, and make a decision where the lane goes at that time.
Yeah, and like just some vertical jungling happening essentially. You know, nobody's really gonna try and enter into either opponent's side at the moment before they get that first full clear at least. So just it's a lot of setup, a lot of chilling at the moment for both sides. Both playing on bated breath, 2-2. Like we said, very big standings implications here for this game and the subsequent ones in the following week. And we see Kinatu just, you know, getting a few pokes off onto Yelioshi here. The Sedge Gnar matchup. I mean, Sedge is just so annoying to deal with right now. It's a solo laner. Like, I thought we finally got rid of her out of the jungle, and she just pops him in the top lane.
That's what happens for getting just all of that extra bonus HP damage back in the day. She just now scales excellently in top lane. An extra ward from Swamp there. Not sure that was necessary given the timing on the Raptors from Megamin's ward. It just means Swamp was going to head back around, move through some lanes, and just keep clearing away. Blank, on the other hand, is trying. I'm so sorry. No, he's reset. He's back down at the bottom. He's just going to try and break something open nice and early, I think.
Oh, yeah, this is an interesting one to read. Okay, we do see Blank here. The Missile Dive does come in. It's that Fast Presence pop for the Moose Speed. The heal is already used by Songju, but he's in a very good position to stay away. Unfortunate for Ozuka, not able to use his flash to get out of safety. Stun locked and taken down. First blood over to the Hawks.
They pick up the first, Blank out on the map, and rewarded for getting in behind AXIZ. We'll see it here. Sangchu just a little too far up. Is clipped right on the edge. Blank, nice and fast, into the front. Ozuka left without an AD carry in a stable position and will fall.
And yeah, just very good job on them collapsing on that, just making sure, like, Blank using Steadfast Presence to get the speed up to get into there. But yeah, giving that first blood over, making sure it does go into the pocket of marbles. We can get a nice back, get some additional funds on whatever his first buy is going to be. And then this top lane, Kinatu is winning out on these trades against Yelioshi, who did actually opt in to take TP Ignite. That is one thing I did want to highlight here in the top lane. So no flash on the Sejuani. He went Grass and Ignite. So that tells you definitely going to go for more of that all-in style and just try to take anyone out before they pop as well. So
when you got Bristle for you, you know, you don't necessarily need the flash. You don't necessarily need that extra escape. You're committing all in anyway, so why not make it a little bit stronger? Trying to go over some of the runes and item choices to get Dasher back nice and quickly. A tempo TP, rewarding him with his Tear of the Goddess. Just all important to getting that rocket damage sorted out on 2 items. You see Swamp starting the Dragon and Blank with a Hex Flash. We'll see if there's some extra creativity used this game. Swamp not willing to commit to this. I think he saw the control ward in the back of the pit. A fight breaks out in bottom. Ozuka up in the front line will keep Reiner stunned. Doesn't get him down to the second health bar. Dropping low themselves. And Marvel just holds the position just long enough. And even though Swamp's arrived, Sanctu's going low. No. Just manages to get the 1-for-1. It's not perfect, but it'll do for the Hawks.
Yeah, that'll do, Pig. That'll do is, I mean, the 1-for-1 trade coming out there. Marble almost taking both down before he dropped himself, but just like one more auto to seal the deal and just couldn't get it off in range in time. And yeah, AXIZ answering back very well. He still managed to hold on to Cleanse, so has that for the next all-in.
Yeah, we'll go through this again. Ozuka starts up Sangchu. They know Swamp's coming. They want to make sure they in with plenty of time. Reiner has to burn sums, and Ozuka just a little too deep. Does get Marble to come forwards. Nearly gets the 2-for-1.
Look at that. Oh.
So close.
So close. I mean, look, Giga Chad moved for Marble to flash forward to secure the first kill. I mean, man thought he had enough damage coming out with the chakrams, etc. to make it 2 kills. Didn't really work out the best in his favor.
I mean, Swamp picks up the kills. That is a gold disparity in the bottom lane. Marble will be reaching his points faster. There's a call from Sangju to try and negate that over the next few minutes, but it will take time to get back there as Blank is going to charge up that Hex Flash.
Hex
He's
Flash,
in behind.
baby! Yes, Hex Flash in. Abyssal Dive does actually connect onto Sangju as well. And
that's
just completely evaporates. And just like that, Marble's up 3-1. I'd consider this 2v2 done.
It's most likely going to be a real struggle now. Blank, just such great timing to come back in, get over the wall. That's another 2 plates to Marble as well. Absolutely brutal. And that's the sort of thing you can do. When you trade that 1-for-1, it's like, hey, temporary gold advantage. Let's make the best of it. Let's push it even further. That is now well and truly established as the Hawks surge to a 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, popping up on that 2K gold lead. Really nice stuff coming from Hawks right now. Marble's sitting real pretty to carry through this mid to late game. But on the opposite side of the map, AXZ will take the first Herald in response to the plates being taken and the pressure being put down in that bot lane as they're going into the second replay.
This is what you want to see when
This
it's
is, oh my god.
Just the chain up, Sangchu not escaping, the tongue lash. That had gone slightly wide, not enough damage to take him down, so great patience from the Hawks, land everything they need to, and that is from what was an even bot lane only a minute ago, now a mythic up against
a 9-minute Gale Force.
That's quiet.
9-minute Gale Force. That's what I like to see. That's the stuff you wish your solo QAD carry would have, right? Like you're doing your best, just being a sufficient jungler, being a great support, and 9 minutes I got the mythic. Oh yeah, that's where you're like in that comfortable. All right, bro, just carry me, it's fine. Such type of situation, and Hawks are definitely looking to do that as Lina just gonna go get some forward vision up, stalking prey.
Yep. They managed to take away their own Gromp as well. This is just a little bit of extra gold for Sangchu. It doesn't contribute as much XP as you'd think without that jungle item, but it's a little bit at a time when they may be in trouble. They also pop the blast cone. Poor Swamp here did not realize he walked over that control ward, so is spotted out. Hawks have all of the knowledge here. They know exactly where everyone's standing.
Yeah, and shout out to the LJL observers for that wide angle, because like that was just really dope. Seeing where everybody is, we expected maybe a small skirmish to happen, 3v3, but just there's so much information on the Hawks side of what AXZ is going to be doing that they don't have to opt into these fights. They don't have to go for these intrepid plays. You know, they don't have to put themselves in any sort of dangers. Blank, who knows that Swamp has rotated to the other side of the map, he can go for another dive here. He has full flash now. Oh, steadfast flash and flashes outward to push him back in. Tower dive, make it easy peasy lemon squeezy. Going for 2. He's going to take one of those kills for himself. So Hawks just absolutely decimating here at the 10-minute mark.
They do command that lead now. 3,000 gold, an extra 1,000 every 2 minutes. Nothing to complain about, and plenty of uses of Blank's Hex Flash. It's just so easy when you've got the Tom Kench to layer all of that CC on top, and a bit of a bounce house leaves Sangchu returning to base once again. Dasher is just going to use the package there, so the dragon not the priority. We'll just see here. Blank will start up and flash over and in. Manages to eat a load of CC, starts tanking the tower, gets the double knockup, and then it can just be removed away with the Tom Kench ultimate.
Look at that shield, Jesus. Woof.
Yeah, it is another health bar donated over. It's just so easy when you use these tools.
Swamp in a bad spot right now, being a little overzealous trying to get some counter jungling done. And bro, you're in Hawks territory. You don't want to be on this side of the tracks. As Kanatsu's just gonna go mega, walking him over, gets the cheeky emote, uses the ult, throws the rock for his troubles and claims himself a kill. But oh, here is Megumin gonna try and do some cleanup duty on his own. Manages to get a little bit of a shutdown on Blank and claim something back in the favor of AXZ there.
It's a little consolation prize, but a prize all the same. If this AXZ side is to come back in, it'll be on the back of you, and he's not even safe behind his own tower. Oh boy, that's rough.
Oh man, great job on Lina to force the flash out. That's you know what's bad when the 005 support can just walk at your AD carry. Just walk at your marksman and force the flash. You know you're in a very bad pickle. As AXZ have to find something to get them back into this game. It's this 12-minute mark here, but it really does feel like Hawks are just running away with it now.
Yeah, I think with Swamp a little bit discoordinated across the map, they haven't got the advantage in the mid 2v2. Maybe panicking a bit as we just see that reset there. The chickens just running back home. Dragon will go down in favor of AXZ. Wait, is that a bug? Is that on the wrong side of the map? I swear we just saw blue team pick that up and the Jinx.
Right, I think that might be a spectator bug because we definitely saw Hawks pick that one up. Okay,
we'll double check with production on that one, but don't know where that's come from. Cool, fantastic.
New bug unlocked. Oh boy. Add this one to the list.
Well, 12-11. Spectator bug, not the most interesting thing, but did fixes on 12-12 that should hopefully make the viewing experience much nicer.
Hopefully, yes, for sure. Well, yeah, so, Dragon apiece
Yeah, let's presume that went over to Hawks. You know, they've done a full round of the map now. They're at 4,000 gold. They want to keep growing that. They want to keep committing to this mid lane and keep Megamin down. They've swapped over now, so they will have their duo up here to match, to keep their AD carry able to attack towers, able to have something at the end of that minion wave to capitalize on. And it means Megamin's going up against Kinatsu. This is pretty Yone favored at this stage in the game. We'll have to see who's got the fancy footwork in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, just rotations all across the map. Your bot goes mid, your mid goes top. In the case of Hawks, and your top decides to go bot. Yone versus Gnar, pretty scrappy matchup. I mean, relatively even. Both have their mythic completed, boots and inventory, but they're just gonna farm and back off of each other. In the case of Dasher, he's kind of had a pretty simple game. You know, he's probably just been playing Farm Simulator, just watching Marble be shooting threes and getting all the points that he needs to. Is once again this bot lane duo of Marble and Lina in the mid lane just gonna, you know, be on tower taking duty. And right now it's important. This is what I was talking about, how the game's gonna kind of balloon and extend as we do have that extended trade from Megamin getting onto Kinatsu. Not gonna take him out. I mean, that was a lot of damage managing to go down as the ambitious rocket from Sangchu breezes past him.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we have Yaliyoshi walking towards this Herald, trying to contest the Hawks, who are also moving into the river. Blank will pick up the Rift Scuddler. And now Dasher in this top lane has a job to push out. If the Hawks want to secure this, they do have to achieve that priority. Ozuka can contest from such a long way away.
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to set up a bit of a trap here, are the Hawks. We'll get scouted out. Sweeper doing sweeper things is, yeah, they're just going to push back in the mid. And Shelton will return to his cave.
So they do move first back into the river with that priority, with the minion wave shoved in. AXZ not feeling like stick around, though. They will go for Blank on his own. Megaman has the priority in the bottom lane. Does have that teleport as well. Only Dasher across the map missing it, and he's on the near side. So no risk here from the Hawks. They're happy to take another minion wave and take this slowly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's looking to be, you know, some sort of entry point in for AXIZ. Is they're just kind of pushing waves and waiting for a response that they can actually take, a fight for them that they can take, as Yaliyoshi is sitting at 0-0-0 16 minutes in. I don't think he's actually used that Ignite this entire game. I could be wrong on that, but I'm actually not sure, because he doesn't have a death. There's no assist.
It doesn't seem to have made a huge difference if he has no kill participation. So have to see as Gnar goes Mega in the bottom lane, which is kind of the most interesting thing going on right now. Both teams just resetting, trying to find a way in safely onto this Rift Herald. It's easy enough to, you know, just jump into the river as Megamin comes forwards. Will just be a quick trade. Blank deciding after that exchange, after the stalemate in topside, maybe he wants to just surprise someone. Oh, yeah. I think he showed there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bait like he's going back, but Megamin's smarter than that.
He's just messing with Blank. He saw him step out and probably therefore stand away. AXIZ in reprisal will start up this Herald. Not sure they're going to commit to this yet. This is pretty soft. They want to stay near their exit.
Yeah, and I feel like a fight is coming up here. We'll be spotted out. Thank God for Farsight. And, Dasher has package available in there. So the rest of the Hawks swarming like they should. As soon as they smell some blood, they're going to go ahead and push them off it. But they're not going to opt to take it themselves. Interesting to see, after such a hot start for the Hawks, they're really trying to just drag and balloon this out, wait for second items to come across the board for a lot of their members. I mean, even though Marble is already sitting on the Lord Doms plus the Gale Forces, this Infernal Drake's going to go down. Rocket once again. Okay, and yeah, it is a spectator bug. So currently Hawks do have 2 dragons. I promise viewers, they do have the 2 dragons. As AXIZ will finally take Senior Shelton for themselves, getting something in return. So we do have them knocking on the mid tower, looking like a pincer going to happen here. Megamin in the back gets straight onto Blank, who will get aggressed on immediately. Yaliyoshi will claim that kill. The Drowsy comes out, Swamp, great ultimate, gets another in return, but Marble's still alive and still healthy, and so is Dasher, firing from the back line. has optimal guns, does get tagged to the gravitum, not able to activate the stun just yet out of range, but Marble forcing 4 members, almost all 5, of AXIZ away from him after a very, very rough skirmish coming out in that mid lane. Oh, he got tagged with the gravitum in the back.
Close team fight. That is the sort of major unit of AXIZ coming together. Despite losing the tower, there was a moment there where it looked like they could fight back despite the deficit, despite the difficult position they've been put in.
Right, so, that all comes off of, the strength of Marble. This 2-item sub 20-minute Aphelios just really, really damaging.
All right, we'll see in the fight here. Megamin from long distance catches up, and then so if we see the reversal of that double CC, catches out Blank too far.
Yeah.
Natsu also falls. It's just a shame they don't quite have the ability to keep going. That's sort of the lack of their lead, their health bars for committing that much, already too low. Dasher and Marble surviving, managed to turn it around and get some infrastructure for that trouble.
Yeah, and off the back of that, I didn't even realize Ozuka didn't go down. I thought he died in that exchange, but he lived with literally like 5 HP on this rel.
just surviving.
Just barely surviving, as my granddad used to say, by the skin of his ass, just barely getting out of there. And that will be a tower. Megumin trying to make stuff happen and doing it in spades, getting a tower for himself, as they also will use that second herald to get the tower in mid. So AXIZ getting a much needed gold boost into their pockets, as Dasher will claim a tower in the top lane for the Hawks. But yeah, there's still fight left in this AXIZ lineup, as you can see, like hitting their strides, getting those collapses like we were talking about, maybe seeing Blank be the bodyguard to be like, guys, get behind me, so they don't get that entire engage. But they got a lot of it in the last fight, and it definitely showed up.
2 towers apiece in the last 2 minutes after the fight's all said and done. So tier 1s, not the tankiest things in the world at 20 minutes. And both teams just starting to pull that gold, as you mentioned, from the map into their pockets. Sort of will be the difference in the next fights. Rapid fire cannon from Sanctuary means he will be a little safer, a little better position to start off a fight, but his damage will be lacking. See whether that makes the difference, as Marble not far now from his 3rd item, if I can do some napkin maths. And that just means even more of a risk for AXIZ. They have to find the position, because in a straight fight, it's looking harder and harder by the minute now.
Yeah, and it's, we talked about it very briefly, but this Lilia pick for AXIZ can really do some damage to get some long range Qs into those ultimates, like she did in that last fight as a combo extender, to just really damper any chance for Hawks to get away or to counterattack or be ready for the attack from AXIZ. So definitely looking at Swamp. Dark Seal in pocket, has 2 items already, has the Zhonya's and the Liandry's completed. Very scary force on the map.
Yeah, that Zhonya's just lets you, like you said, just go so deep, flash forwards. It can make the difference. It could be that position that AXIZ need in this team fight. So they're back to shoving out mid again. They have Megaman off on the side. That's what's helping protect this Jinx, who is quite far up in the lane. Can't see the Baron right now, but they trust. The Hawks not quite so greedy to get in ahead. Megaman, this has to be an all-in pretty much at this stage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's got to be. Ooh, great fancy footwork from Kinatsu, being able to survive. And here is Blank off of it. Megamin pops the ultimate, but great Mega Transformation just in time for Kinatsu to give him a little bit extra health that he needed to survive that. Blank with the assist. Kinatsu gonna claim that kill. Great try by Megamin. Like we said, he's been trying to make things happen the entirety of this game and just overreaching just a tiny bit.
Caught out Blank, very happy to abandon the objective. He doesn't think AXIZ will trade for. Just to head on down to the bottom lane, break Megamin, and with that now they have time on the map with numbers advantage. AXIZ will cross map into another tower, but the Hawks have managed to set up plenty of vision and will start up this dragon as they try and go to 3.
And oh, look at that! The dragon counter overlay has actually been fixed. I say that as it doesn't show this next one. Oh my god. All right, it'll catch up eventually as it's shown, but another dragon going the way of the Hawks. That's 2 Infernals and a Cloud.
Yeah, they've managed to find their way in first so many times in this game. And should it continue, it'll just get a little more difficult for AXIZ. They have plenty of decent approach, but it's still not the position you choose to be in against a Corki, against the Kench that can just control that little zone so well.
Yeah, now it's really just playing around timings and making sure you don't get caught out as Dasher Valkyries. This safety, keeping his little plain self out of harm's way. His AXIZ, I mean, that is just a scary dive. You have a Rel, Sejuani, Lilia running furiously at you. Honestly, I'd dip too, because that is just too much to deal with, in my personal opinion.
It's a little bit scary. Maybe not what you choose. Kanatsu signed up against Yellow Yoshi now.
Oh.
Sejuani is advantaged here, but Yellow Yoshi doesn't want to commit. He wants to stay away from Kanatsu. Yeah. As soon as he starts building that bar back up again, can very easily interrupt a key teleport. Blank will have to flash. That's not the end of the world.
It was a really good flash.
Yeah, it was nice to just catch the edge of the wall.
Yeah.
Hex Flash should offer the same aggressive creative options, so it's not as big of an investment.
Yeah, that's the thing. Whenever you do play using Hex Flash, you do know you have that in your back pocket, so you are willing to use your flash a little bit more liberally to get out of situations such as that. I know I would have failed flash that and gone straight into the wall. So.
Such confidence. I'm sure you'd have done fine.
Just complete splat. Just alt F4 immediately.
Let's take a look at the wards across the map.
Yes.
So we still have a very deep control ward, sort of that secret one that's been hidden there pretty much the whole game from the Hawks in the bottom side through. But other than that, a tight war over the Baron. AXIZ have got 1 or 2 in deep, but they still can't see the pit. Hawks holding them out here. It's the control ward in Tribush preventing the approach, preventing it from being easy for AXIZ. The way they reset now and come into that play in the jungle will sort of inform the start of this next team fight. It'll let us know the way things are gonna bail out and sort of explode as they have to approach Marble. They do have to approach this objective, or eventually the Hawks will feel comfortable in starting that one up.
Yep. All right. 2:16 till next Infernal. Baron is live. Here we are, 26 minutes in, as Lina's pushing a little bit forward. There's a speedy Kench. Ooh, Swamp actually burning the flash, going all in. Great. Keeper's Verdict from Blank to knock some out of the fight. He's less than half, though. Ooh, Sejuani goes wide from Yellow Yoshi, not able to get onto him. Blank with the shield gets eaten by Lina. Stays alive. Kanatsu on the back half. Gonna round out and route out Ozuka from this fight, and the fight that AXIZ started and wanted to take gets turned on its head immediately as the Hawks, they're going to collapse in, claim some kills, and looking like they're going to get a tower on the back end of that.
Just 1 for 0 in the end, despite the investment, despite everyone just getting a little bit crazy for a moment. Clutch work from Blank to dive out of the way of Lilia at the last second and just survive, just hold on. She's done so well in the last few minutes. We'll see it in the replay here. Reiner all the way up in front, maybe a little too far out. Swamp decides that Blank and Reiner were going too far. Blank, as you see, he gets that bop away, but then as soon as this breaks, dodges Megaman, dodges Sanctuary's traps by using Swamp as an anchor, and with that, gets away just in the nick of time.
Yeah, and I really love the fact that Marble can walk up straight through River. Like, the man is so strong in Chad right now, as we just go back to live, though. Can just walk up straight through River, and there's like 3 people in front of him. He just hangs right and just meets up with the rest of his team. No problem, no worry at all. Super dope on him to do that. But yeah, that perfectly timed dodge from Blank. Really good job getting that body slam to get out of dodge from Megamine, as we are onto another fight already. Speaking of Megamine, over the wall, this is great positioning right here. The ultimate's coming down from Marvel. Dasher finally getting on the kill board here, but here's Megamine trying to play hero. Will be able to get back over the side for that Spirit Tether, but the rest of the team of AXIZ is being felled left and right, down center, in middle lane, and they're looking to go straight for Baron after that one.
AXIZ thought they'd found something. They thought they had disrupted Hawks for just a moment. They denied the base for Dasher with the rocket, but unfortunately, not enough. So they're left wanting, and that package has been picked up. It will be the doom of Megaman. Just goes down there. That is Hawks across the map now. They have the Baron. They will get this Infernal Dragon Soul. There is not a lot AXIZ can do right now.
Yeah, it's looking dire straits for this AXIZ lineup, as that will be the Infernal Soul going over to Hawks Gaming now. That's a scary one to have on this lineup.
It's a cold read here. Sangchu guesses and just manages to stop Dasher. So they think they found the angle. They think they found the way in. Megaman on the flank. Yellow Yoshi opens up. And it's looking so great, but Blank holds this front line. Yellow Yoshi's approach is completely broken. Ozuka's cooldowns are burnt. And from there, the 1-0 just spreads forwards. Megaman can't make the impact. That Yone has not accelerated the way they should have. And while he's safe, it brings the rest of AXIZ back in to their unfortunate demise.
Yeah, and like you just see how much damage the Moonlight Vigil coming from Marble did to force the backline of AXIZ completely out of the fight. Like Sangchu didn't want no smoke out of that. This man's like, all right, I got like 200 HP, I'm dipping. And it's just a testament for getting that early lead on Marble and then allowing the rest of the team to just essentially catch up to his level. And now they're all absolute monsters. They just melt through these towers here, muscling up 12-4. Just a little bit shy of the 30-minute mark. And Hawks right now, they are pushing on the inhibitor door of AXIZ. Great Keeper's Verdict coming in, and it's looking like the end here, Temporals. The Hawks are going to push extremely hard into the base.
Managed to find their way in now. Ozuka coming back, trying to find a way in. Will start at the Magna Storm, but falls immediately. It's not even a real fight.
Blank is so good at dodging skill shots. Who would have thought? No Lisa, no problem as he's playing this Poppy to perfection, as we do have Kinatsu getting another kill onto Yellow Yoshi, and the Moonlight Vigil does come out from the Gravitum from Marble. He wants some more kills, patting the KDA, flashing forward to claim Sangchu's life once again. Nexus Tower number 1's going to fall. Nexus Tower number 2 soon to follow after. Every single member of Hawks is still alive. The last-ditch effort from Megaman, watching his team fall around him. He will be felt in the end, and this will be the SoftBank Hawks Gaming going up 1 over AXIZ.
All right, a crucial victory for the Hawks here. They established themselves with a winning record up against an AXIZ we've been excited about in early weeks. Not bad at all, as they will now join. Wait, no, it's not the Jesters. We need to find out about this game afterwards. They will move up to the top half of our standings.
Yeah, I mean, look, we said it would go a little bit long. We did say 30-minute minimum. I think that one clocked in like 31, 32. But it was just that early presence from Marble doing such a great job. And Hawks taking that one all the way to the bank, if you will. And
all the way to the blank, for sure.
Oh, even better.
The way that line turned out. We're going to cut to a quick break. And we'll be back with J-Real to break this one down.
Big games being played every day on the LJL, but this one was an important one. You know, the Hawks, they came into this saying, look, we need to prove a point, and they did just that. Beautiful, are you happy with how the Hawks are performing right now?
I am absolutely ecstatic with how the Hawks are performing. Shout out to, you know, the former world champion Blank, doing big poppy things, calling Big Papa, just making the game state absolutely insane with his ganking. I'm good.
Nice. Yes. No, it was an excellent game. I'm not completely convinced by Hawks. I still think Dasher went completely untested in that game, and you know that's probably what they're going to struggle with against the stronger teams in the league. But a victory nonetheless, and some very, very clean play from Blank.
Yeah, and on the flip side, do you feel like if you're not super impressed with the Hawks, are you saying that AXIZ are maybe being a little bit overrated in their performance, and actually they're probably not hitting the mark as much as they were? Or are you saying that actually, you know what, the Hawks on today were better, but maybe aren't as consistent as you'd like?
I think that Megaman sort of did the best he could, but today Swamp was completely inconsistent. I don't know if the Lilia is something new, but there was a lot of odd jungle pathing and time wasted, which on Lilia is not something you can really afford. You got to go fast and get out there. That's kind of the point of the pick. And one or two mechanical outplays meant she couldn't lean into that gameplay where you just flash into a team fight, set a load of people to sleep, and then from there play forwards. It wasn't enough today.
Talking about that, obviously, combination with the Yone as well. We talked about how AD assassins have been a big namesake for Megamin, but AD Yone, I guess, is kind of like an assassin plus consistent damage. We talked about wanting maybe an Azir pick up from here. Obviously, Yone very far away from that. How are you feeling about this pick in general, Beautiful?
Yeah, the Yone, I mean, it works to Megamin's playstyle, like we had said, like we had noted before. The mid lane was kind of weird for me in this matchup because, like Temporal said, we were really looking for Dasher to be tested and, see if he actually really was being more towards the top of the table, like a lot of people were. But he just did not really have the laning phase wasn't really a thing for our mid laners. It was kind of off, and like Megumin, I feel like could get away with the Yone because that speaks more to his style. But I would have liked to see a control mage of some sort, the Lissandra, the Azir, to answer the Corki in such a way. Maybe they would have had a different outcome. Maybe that would just give more team fight potential. I mean, he did get some really good flanks, but you could have just imagined if that had been an Azir to get a shuffle the entire team back into the rest of AXIZ, if it would have been, a Lissandra going over the side and getting a Frozen Tomb on. It's just, it's a really big hypothetical, I would say.
Yeah, definitely a lot of question marks there about what could have maybe worked a little bit better. I will say the Poppy, though, really playing defense well. It's hard to say you can bring in this, that, or the other, talking about flanks, talking about dashing, when you have a Poppy that is on form. And it may say Master One, but obviously Temporal, it's a really good Poppy pick, and we've seen it a few times now from Blank.
Yeah, played creatively as well. I think we can definitely just chalk Blank up there with Steel, with Yellow Yoshi. Is like, yeah, Poppy is very well and truly on the table now, just in every game. It's just the LJL special. We see it so frequently. And I was really, really happy to see sort of coming into the bot lane and making things right after an early 2v3 difficulty. So Axis brought the numbers. They managed to take down Marble. They do trade it back, though. And then when that lane comes back together, there's that moment of, we've traded gold here. Like, Swamp got a kill out of this, and that's now left the lane. So can we make AD carry dying into an advantage? Like, yes, you come back Blank, straight in behind, and such fantastic combination and coordination with Liner was just able to make such a difference and really put AXIZ's key jewel in the crown in Sanctuary so far behind.
Yeah, and talking about Poppy being popular, obviously Poppy is popular unless you're Yellow Yoshi, in which case you don't get to play the champion very often. Talking about people that weren't playing champions they're really popular for in the LJL, we had a Rel versus Reiner, and how do you guys feel it went? I feel like Rel is a very interesting champion. It's very up and down sometimes. Temporal, do you feel like this was a good pick here? Do you feel like it maybe suffered a little bit?
I think it's suffered by Swamp. And to sort of clarify that, that's not Swamp did anything wrong, but as soon as the Rel cannot face up in the 2v2 against Kench, Kench's weakness is the 2v2. So what's happening here? If she's not able to be stable, then she is just someone to be picked off time and time again. Rel in that team composition should be the diving half, and then she's paired with someone in the backline to produce, the stun, the backwards and forwards that the champion is known for. As soon as you can't be that front line anymore, without any gold, with your opposing laners so accelerated, it was not the time. From get-go, they might have tried to get their bot lane ahead, and that's why Swamp was there. And from that point of view, it was a great pick, but it just didn't work out today.
Now, I'm going to ask both of you this question, starting with you two. We talked a little bit about Rascal Jesters maybe not being the third spot anymore in contention. Do you think that the Hawks could take that third spot?
I am one to do some pretty crazy predictions, some pretty crazy takes. If the Hawks can tighten up their consistency and maybe speed up the game time a bit, because they did have a pretty big lull period in this game, I would say. I do think they could compete for that top 4 spot. Maybe not beat Rascal Jester, but be on par with them. I have to see the matchup because, yeah, Rascal Jester has had a little bit of a fall from grace, but they are still a very strong team, I would say. So maybe equals, but not quite above.
I'm not a million miles away on my take. I think if the third place is anyone's right now, it is a close fight between Crest Gaming Act and AXIZ. I am not convinced. In the
Ooh.
Hawks, I think this is the best we will see of them today. I think when blank looks this good, the rest of it comes together. But their mid laner still doesn't convince me. And as we go on through the season, I'm convinced mid, which has had a little bit of a slowdown. We see these corkies, we see this slower stuff. And today the Yone attack wasn't successful, but it really, really should have been. And as soon as you polish off a little bit of dust from both sides, I think they are much more likely to attack this third place. Rascal Jesters can be up there, but the meta really doesn't suit them, and we've seen slow adaptation, the sort that can take most of the season to do. Even if they come back in Jester's style and crush everything, I think it's going to be too late this split.
Well, you heard it here first, people. If you want to let us know who you think is going to be taking that third spot, maybe away from Russell Jesters, let us know on Twitter. Respond to the post about the game day today. We want to hear your views. We want to hear that.
Flip your Crest Gaming at coins and see where it lands. That should be your answer.
But we are going to go to a short break before we come back with the final game of the day. Talking about them, CGA will be up against DFM, a big challenge for all to see. Which CGA are we going to get today? You'll find out shortly after this break.